Learn from those before and continue to explore. There's no limit to how much you can know.
Where is everything here? Here's the boxes, the plasticine, the electronics, the rubber bands, the 3D printer, the space painter. I can't find anything. Hold on, I got pens. Wait a minute. There it is. Now, is this real work? Are we really working here? Or actually are we playing together? Yeah, we're playing together. So here we go, another day at the Inventors. Just want to talk to you about the enormity of the things that we create here, the enormity of the small pieces that are put together to make a child's experience fantastic. This is one of our cool catapult products. How do we do it? We design, we manufacture, we put all the pieces together here in the factory. This is a hive of creativity. This is a makerspace that people would love to be part of. I mean, everything we create from passion, design and understanding of an experience for a child. And look at this, the complexity of creating a piano with electronics, lights and sound. You have no idea, over 100 products that we make here, you have no idea the passion that goes in just to create one small thing here, all to help the kids enjoy the Inventors.
Welcome to the first Sunset Show with Terry. Terry, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're right in the sunshine.
I'm right under the bridge, the famous Vincing de Bril, is that correct?
Yes.
Where all the action happened, all of the piece for Portugal happened on that very bridge.
Right.
And here I am. Very good.
I'm honored to have you here in the first show.
Thank you.
Actually,
it's an honor for me to be asked to be.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Well, we did already a lot, but we had never time to talk.
Yeah.
So I had to invite you to the show to have a personal talk with you.
Great.
We always have a couple minutes between something.
Running around,
and I really like to know a little bit more about you. I think there are so many interesting things happened in your life, and we only get fragments of it. And so where are you coming from, so that our audience understands a little bit your background and your activities. We're coming later on.
Well, I mean, the strangest thing was that probably, so I'm 48 now, and 2016 I kind of really found my true purpose in life, of stuff that happened to me when I was a kid, and so in the last so many years I've had kind of thrown everything towards those projects because it's where I feel at my most comfortable. I enjoy it. I chose that whole path through education. So I suppose it kind of starts with my father was in the military, and we lived in Singapore. So I was a baby in Singapore. I had blonde hair, baby, ran around naked. And my first memories of childhood was my father being in the military. My mother was an amazing woman. She was a very small, strong Glaswegian Scottish woman, and the whole interesting thing about my past was that my mum was under physical abuse from my dad. Right, he'd come home, he was a tyrant. He would beat her up, and I could remember these fights and these things that are going on. At night times, like what the hell is all this about? And I love barbecues now, because when I was 5. My mother threw all of my father's stuff in the garden and made a big fire, right? And I could smell the fire and the enjoyment of this guy going.
Disappear.
So I was really lucky that I had my mother, because my mother was a great rock for me. I was a little crazy as a kid. So she made me a box.
You still?
Well, everybody's a bit crazy, right?
Yeah, we have to.
But it was very interesting because, through that time and through all that stuff, and it was from a place called Renfrew in Scotland. It was we weren't rich by any means. I mean, my mother was holding down 2 jobs, three kids. I was the youngest. So my brother always says I was the golden boy, you know what I mean? Because she'd been through all that stuff. And then I was wild. I went crazy. I had a gang. I was like, nightmare. So my mother made me a boxer, and I joined the boxing team. I learned my discipline. I stopped fighting on the streets. But I hated school, right? I just hated school. School didn't understand me, and I didn't understand school. So every day I would go and sign in and tell the school I was having a medical for my boxing career because I was a good boxer.
Okay.
And they say, okay, sign out and go home. I'd watch Bruce Lee films at home.
Nice.
But because my mother worked really hard, I would hoover the house, make sure the house was all tidy and clean, ready for her when she came back in. She's like, oh my God, you tidied the house. So I had this protection of my mother. I wanted to protect her for all those years. And then I couldn't get any qualifications. School kicked me out at 15, became a hairdresser. A boxing Glaswegian hairdresser. I mean, what a weird combination.
It's unique, yeah.
And I remember the guy that owned the salon said to me, you have to stop boxing because you can't come in with a black eye serving clients.
Yeah, right.
And then that was my career. Started to talk to people, become natural, speaking to people, you know, therapist, you know, understanding people. And then it kind of took me through my travels. I then moved to Greece, worked in Greece, laid out the sun loungers, worked in bars and met a lot of people. And then I ended up coming back to Liverpool where I have a house and businesses there. And then my world was rocked when I was 28 years of age.
Okay, why?
I thought at the time I was mega successful. I was working we had 6 salons, we had about 80 staff. And then I discovered that when I was young, I was abused as a child. And I had no idea that happened. I had no recollection of the thing. I had no recollection of the moment. But at 28, I discovered that it happened. And that was the thing that made me wild as a kid. Made me crazy because I was going through a lot of internal stuff that I didn't understand.
Yeah,
right?
I understand, and you couldn't speak, yeah.
Whatever happened to me, my subconscious mind said, this kid can't handle it, block it out, and subdued it. And then when I was 28, I met the most incredible guy who I actually now have a partnership with in another business, who said to me, you have to think about the things that you're doing and saying, I believe there was something that happened in the past. And then I called someone because I had a kind of an inkling, and it was verified that at 7 I was in some form of sexual abuse. And then since that day, I met the most amazing therapist, turned my life in an amazing direction. And now my whole purpose now is to work with young people, education, inspire young people, everything to do with young people and help them go, all because of that original stuff. And it stems back from my mother's being mistreated by my father and all that kind of stuff. So, and I don't say that because I'm looking for sympathy or I feel bad about it. I say it because many of us have something that happened, and I'm at my happiest now because I'm using that or I used to call it an unfortunate gift, but a gift that helps me potentially influence millions of young people. Like I'm running an entrepreneurs club for kids, which is just starting. It's like I'm passionate about it. You know, like 11 to 16-year-olds. You know, you guys have seen that. It's just like so it's just the right fit. So, you know, that's the short thing. The boxing hairdresser in Glasgow and living in Portugal now with an amazing family, 2 kids, beautiful wife,
and lots of networkers around you, lots of business around. So you came here and you started the business here, or you already started some business abroad? Yeah.
So what happened was while I was running those salons, I got invited by the owner of the salon group, because we used to have a furniture company, a training company, and a hairdressing group. It was called the Oz Group. And it was really amazing company. Actually, it was run by
the Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Well, listen, it was owned by 3 gay guys, right? So anything could have happened, right?
That's great.
So I had my first experience working with gay owners. Jesus, I love those guys. Yeah. And they understood my personality type. They knew that, you know, I reached a certain point, I would get bored of stuff. And they said to me, it was actually Phil Evans said to me, why don't you become the company networker? Now, this is 98. We're really, you had the chambers of commerce, you had a few loose networkings, but nothing serious in the world of networking. Right. I said, okay. So I went out, I spent maybe about a year joining every network that was there, zero results. You know, it was a tough gig. You're
Really
in competition,
groundwork,
people talking about
groundwork.
stuff.
It's real groundwork.
And we were selling furniture.
Okay.
Selling furniture, really high-class furniture.
Thank you.
A
Yeah,
little
it's
bit
old.
like-
It's very
A
old.
little bit like yours, yeah.
It's very old.
And then I went to a business network meeting
Yeah.
at one of the hotels, and I was almost saying to the guys, "Let's cut networking. It's a load of crap. It doesn't work." And then I met this guy, and he had this red card folder with the BNI logo on it. I didn't understand what it was at the time, you know.
Yeah.
And he said to me, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, look, I do furniture." He said, "Well, I'm going to put you in touch with a girl who runs a office kit out place. They need furniture for their offices and spaces." He said, "Don't call her. I'll get her to call you." I was like, never believed it was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
She called. We did a £26,000 order.
Wow.
And then she said to me that this is interesting for me. She had this sentence that literally changed my life. She could not have said it, but she chose to ask the question. She said, "What are you doing next Wednesday?" And I literally said, "Anything," because it was my first order in networking. She said, "Come to a meeting with me to meet a lot of business people. I think you're going to love it."
Yeah.
I said, "Great, where?" In Manchester, which was 60 miles from Liverpool, because there was no groups or BNI there, right? And I said, "That's great, what time?" She said, 7 o'clock. I said, "Okay, I'll come home, I'll have a light dinner, and then I'll come to the meeting." "Oh, no," she said, 7 o'clock in the morning. I said, "Geez, I've never seen two 7 o'clocks in the same day," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, I got up, drove, and walked into this meeting of 36 BNI people. BNI was fairly new in the UK then.
Yeah.
And I said, "That's my place." And I tell you why, because it was the first real place that you walked into and people genuinely wanted to help you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I spent all my life in competition, all my life as a boxer, beating people, competitive world. And it was the first experience I had where people genuinely wanted to help with each other. Fell in love with it.
Unusual, really.
We did really well. We did really well for the furniture company. And then I started to be a director for BNI. I bought the first franchise. I owned 4 franchises in England. So I had Merseyside. It was a really lovely guy that owned Manchester, was the region I was a member with. He wasn't really a good profile for BNI. He knew that. And I said to him, "Do you mind if I buy BNI from you because it's not for you?" He said, "Great." I gave him 3 checks. I didn't have enough money, I gave him 3 checks. BNI, the Manchester, Lancashire, helped out Scotland, and then Cheshire. And then typically if you tell me I can't have something, I'm going to go and get it anyway, right?
Yeah.
So the UK guys said, "We don't want you to have any more franchises, you have too many." I said, "Okay, I'll go and start a country."
Yeah.
And as you do, you know. So this was 2003. This was 3 years into my directorship. And my wife and I were in the Algarve on a holiday in Villamora. And my wife said to me, "Why don't we do BNI meetings in the sunshine rather than the rainy cold weather in the UK?" I was like, "That's a good idea." So then we contacted Ivan, who was the owner of BNI, and said, "How do you start a country?" He said, "Simple. Find someone, mentor them, translate the stuff, and love them." I said, "Okay." And we started Portugal 2003, then Brazil 2006, supported Spain 2013, and collectively looked after about 8,000 businesses at that time.
Wow.
And I've been involved in running Europe for BNI and all that sort of stuff. But BNI is in essence the most incredible forum place for people to get together to help each other.
Yeah.
And if you overcomplicate it, it's not what BNI. BNI is so simple. We were at a meeting today, and it works so well, you know.
And it's not the sales pitch here; it's a real thing. So we're talking real things, and I experienced this. I'm really happy. We had a long conversation today in the morning, and we had the session. I'm really thrilled, and the whole thing, and the members and the group we're putting together. You put together. It's a very international group, and we love it. And all the people here, we have some guests here also. They in BNI, so it's really something. You make it, you know, your international experience. You know, you and I met at the garage, right? Yes,
at the Curry Club and stuff. So I set up a social thing called the Curry Club. It's the funniest thing, because everybody thought it was like a male chauvinist thing. So it's now 530 members.
Yes.
3 rows of the Curry Club. Number 1, drink beer. 2, drink wine. 3, eat curry. No more rules.
Great.
Everybody wants to be in it.
You should come. You should come.
It's great.
Yeah.
And we met there, and you know, you can handpick quality people. You know, you really get a connection, and I really was thrilled that you drove from the Algarve every week to come. It's a big ask, you know.
Yeah, but
it's a big ask.
It was really a pleasure. I felt to do it. It's not the question. It was never a question. It was just the only thing with the family and stuff. But it was never a question to do it or not. That this was the point. This was an appointment, really, to go there, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed driving. I enjoyed staying there longer, and then it expanded, and now I'm moving here. So and it was the indication. Like I said this morning, it was the indication to do it.
It was your starting point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that can change lives.
Oh, it's unbelievable. You know, I believe that you're the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And we run around crazy in our lives. I mean, I chased the big dream, the big dream, the big dream, and then my best friend said, "What the hell are you doing? Why would you want to live in London, man? You have a beautiful family in the north. You play golf twice a day if you want to. Why the hell do you want to give up and have that life?" And everybody kind of runs around thinking that's what I want. But actually, it's already here. And when you find a nice collection of people together where you can do the level of business that you want, but it's more about social and support and ideas, you know, like I love it when people have failed and they've said, "Look, this is what I did, be careful with that." You know, not that I would take their advice, because I quite like failing stuff. It's a good lesson, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But it brings different things. And then, so being in BNI for 21 years, I started to think, maybe I could create something else, something different, where I would have less people, but yet more effective people. So I started to build a tribe, and it was born out of really luck, because, you know, Tim Vieira, who's now partner with me with the Brave Generation Kids, is
traveling around the world in the moment.
He's doing 118 days, which you guys are covering, right?
Yes.
We met together at the Quinta de Santana opening. They opened their house. It's the Frost family. They have 7 boys. They have this amazing vineyard, amazing wedding space, and they open it once a year in October to celebrate the land, and they have food and drink and everything. And I was drinking the Aguape. Aguape is the pre-wine, right? You know, because you get a couple of glasses of wine, but I'm like, I like to enjoy myself, so I'm drinking this pre-wine. And then Tim comes over. He's like, I said, "Oh," I said, "You're Terry." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Who are you?" I said, Tim Vieira. Oh my God, we'd never met each other, but we'd known each other through our networks. And obviously we had a good time. His family was there and stuff like that. And he said, "Let's get." He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I got this thing called the Curry Club." He said, "Well, what's the Curry Club?" I said, 3 rules, you know. He's like, "You should come to my garage." I said, "That's a bit weird. Why would we bring like 26 people to your garage?" No, I think you'll like the garage. I had no idea about the garage at the time, right? So I said, okay. So we all went to the garage, like, Jesus, we're going to go into this weirdo's garage. Like, I don't know what he's going to, maybe murder us and something like that, you know. We walked into the garage, and there's all the classic cars and the memorabilia. And I was like, wow. Just fell in love with the whole spirit of the place. We went from 22 members to 500 and whatever because of the relationship between Tim and I and creating all that sort of stuff.
Let me know a little bit in the audience about this.
Funny, the whole kind of, when I was 43, 44, I had this kind of like passion to work with young kids. And I thought, you know, like if you're niche at something, at least everybody understands that you can help. I've been doing BNI for a long time, you know. I love BNI, I love what it stands for, but it didn't fit with my kids thing. It's not about kids, it's about business people, you know. So I was searching for some sort of franchise or system, and there was a system that they were teaching business to kids, and it was pretty successful as a franchise. I had the franchise offer in one hand, and then our other idea with our Brave Kids on the other. And I went to Tim's house and I said, "Look, you've asked me to bring stuff to you. I've got this here or that one here." And he said, "Don't do that. It's complicated. We don't need to do that. Everybody's doing that. But we're going to do the Brave Generation Entrepreneurs Cup for kids, and it's going to be global." Literally in an instant, said, "That's it. We're partners in it. We'll go ahead and do it." And as we're like doing strategy, talking about what we want, what do we don't want, what's it not to be, we're trying to make sure it was about soft skills, teaching kids to be entrepreneur mindset, all that sort of stuff. He then introduced me to a business called The Inventors. He said, look, you need to look at these guys because these guys are working with 300 schools in Portugal, and our market would be after-school clubs for entrepreneurs clubs to teach the kids sort of thing, you know. And I said, okay, I'll go and have a look at it. And I don't know if you remember Victor Khayyam. Victor Khayyam was, there was an old advert on television that said, I love the company so much I bought it. And I walked into The Inventors and I seen what they were doing, I seen what they were creating, and I seen the classes. So they basically work with kids from now 3 all the way through to 12, and they work on creativity, inventions, kits, you know, electronics.
They have products in the end.
They
have really stuff in their hand.
They take it away.
Yeah, from a guitar to a little computer to a little robot did with rubber bands and all kind of stuff.
That's right.
It's unbelievable, or?
And the two guys that invented that company, Jose and Manel, come from a kind of tech background and an inspiration background. And what they do is they actually sell experiences. It's not about products. Because you can buy products, right? You can buy it, right? I mean, there's a company right now that sell boxes. You go home, but there's no experience.
Right.
So we do this in classes of 12. And they're learning leadership, they're learning patience, all the different things. And every kit is carefully detailed by age group and by term. So in the UK we now have 36 kits. Each 12-week term, the kids will do progressional stuff. And what the whole idea is that it inspires them to become makers and creators and get away from just tech or just phone or just Facebook or social, is to make stuff. Because when you
have
make
it in
stuff,
hand, exactly.
It's
you have physical something in your hand. You created something from the idea to the finished product.
There's something about a tangible touch.
Yeah.
Eileen, that we know, who does the mosaics.
Mosaics. Yeah, we've been there. That's it's incredible.
She said actually when people are about an hour into the thing, it becomes a little bit they get into a zone. So the kids make it, understand it, and they're understanding and learning how things are put together. So even though it's like, and they go home with the stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the stuff is about experiential. So I loved it. I said, look, this is a great business. I'm in. They didn't even know me, these guys. They're like, okay, who's this Scottish hairdresser coming in? It's like, look, I think we should franchise it. We should franchise it over the world. I have contacts in 73 countries. Let's franchise it. So we're now in Spain, Holland, and the UK. The UK is going to be one of the biggest markets, 22,000 schools. Even if we had 10%, it's a huge market for us. And now we're moving into all different levels.
Perfect.
So the idea is to model the UK, to work on probably 1 or 2 years to really perfect that, and then global, and then float it and go everywhere.
We're going to put also the web page on it. So if people out there interested in all the things you're doing, they can get in touch with you directly. So you feel free, go directly in contact with Terry if you have questions, or maybe you have kids or you're interested by yourself, get in touch with him. Even whatever, B&I, kids, everything what you feel to come along your way.
Appreciate it.
That's
I mean,
very nice.
The interesting thing about the UK is that we have one of the classes, 12 kids, maybe around about the 10, 11, but there's 3 deaf kids in that class. And the deaf kids love it because it's experiential. And one of our biggest markets is going to be special needs, ADHD, whatever you call the colourful kids. Because they are kids that they don't want to play sports. It's not their thing. They want to get involved in stuff, you know. So that when I talk about the inventors, there's like a fire of excitement that comes in me. So I know that I'm on the right track.
And that has to come over. So people should experience this. And you had a big meeting in Porto with all the parents.
Yes.
About the whole event. So how was this set up, or what have you talked? What was the experience afterwards with the parents? What you have to do with parents and the kids? And
so what they do is they have different things where they do a guitar event. A guitar event is a parent and a child building a guitar together. It's 2.5 hours. And you have 3 different types of parents. It's very interesting because it's a big psychological thing. You have the mum or dad that takes over, and the kids like going, what am I doing, right? Then you have the mum or dad that go on their phone going, let the kids do it. Then you have the middle parents that get involved in the kids. And you get involved with your kids, man. You should do that stuff. They love it.
Yeah.
So those guys get the best experience because they leave with an interaction with their kids. Because we're losing interaction with our kids.
Yes.
I have a 16-year-old girl, 14-year-old boy. We lose that interaction with them, you know. And then, you know, the likes of Toys R Us are engaged with us because they want to pull people back into the stores and create these maker clubs. And so it's going to be wild. We do Rock and Rio. We do the guitar event at Rock and Rio this year.
Okay.
We do it with the young startups where they make the guitar.
Right.
So I think it's going to be very interesting to see where that goes. But the original idea with the Entrepreneurs Club was just to have a look at inventors first. But I loved it. I became a partner, Dietmar, because they have created all of the operations to support 350 schools.
Okay.
So you have this age gap. You have up until 11, 12 years of age. The Brave Generation Entrepreneurs Club for kids fits perfectly.
Absolutely.
I would have loved for someone to come in and teach me entrepreneurial stuff at the age of 12. I would have maybe stayed at school.
It was far away from...
It was too academic for me. It wasn't my thing. Someone just to spark my enthusiasm. And that's where I would love to have the impact. So the inventors, Brave Generation for kids, and then moving on and taking that out and spread it across the world, do it in multi languages and all that sort of stuff. So that's the idea.
Hey,
that's the idea.
Terry, I think we should have a second session, third session. Well, this goes on, or you have a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm very happy and proud to see the stuff. We're working very close more and more, and I see this, and this is really inspirational, and that was one of the reasons. Idea, really having no fear, no limits, what you can learn, what you can know. So that's exactly, you live it. We have it on the theme song and our thing. So this fits ideal, and I'm really happy to have you here. And so we have to make another in a certain time when there are more things coming up.
Let me tell you, because we had no idea.
Okay.
Like, we've talked about this stuff for a while, and the guys here have done some stuff. I mean, we set out with a kind of clear plan, and then our first session we had 29 kids in the session, and we asked them, it was a theme that Tim said, heroes. Let's talk about heroes. So they had to list down 2 heroes, and then 3 heroes, sorry, but 2 of them were like, you know, a film star or a famous person, but the other one was a family member. And then they had to write down 3 things that they admired about that family member, right? So, and then it just came to me, it's like, okay, what are we teaching here? We need to teach them to think on their feet right there and then. So I got them all to stand up. They all took their phones out, and I said, get your phones out right now and call that person and tell them that you're their hero, the hero of that person, and tell them the 3 things that mean to them, you know? And it was the start of a revolution, because how many times does someone call you and really tell you, I'm really proud of you? It was a weird situation. I mean, my son was there. Max, who was 13 at the time. He's almost as tall as me, right? But he was in the room, and he's like, hey Dad, do you mind if I call you? And I'm like, okay. He's like, oh, well, that's a bit weird, but that's okay. You can call me if you want. My phone was on silent. He's like, answer your phone. Answer your phone. He's like, oh, are you calling me now? It's okay. And he's like, Dad, I just want to say I'm really proud of what you're doing and what you think. I was like, oh.
Nice.
And as a father, I mean, okay, my son was there, but I mean, as a parent or a grandfather, that's the problem with the world, right?
Absolutely.
Everyone's looking for
the biggest thing.
Looking for the good that's in people.
Right.
And this was the first session. So if we could, I'm getting emotional, right? If we could,
that's good. That's why we're here. That's why we're here, to get emotional. With a picture like this, we have to.
In the sunset.
Yes,
right?
it's.
We're just missing a caipirinha. That's what we're missing.
Yeah, well, we get drunk afterwards.
If we can leave that memory, and I know that those kids, even though they've been with us for a short time, are making different adjustments in their lives, and because the parents are giving us the feedback. My God, Dietmar, if we could do that with every country. imagine what the future revolution is going to be with good people rather than people looking to kill each other. You know what I mean? So anyway, small pebble in the ocean.
All the time, exactly.
Maybe
all the time,
there,
all the time. So, And if we can be a part of this and helping with this would be undone. We're trying in all ways, and the whole team and the audience. Maybe we can inspire people just doing good things and helping and feel inspired from the conversation, the things we're doing here, and just do something.
Get involved. You know, if anybody's watching this and they want to get involved with anything we're doing, whether it be networking, the inventor stuff, they want to take it, they want to create it, they want to, you know. One of my ideas recently was to say to people that have got entrepreneurial spirit is create your own 1 hour program. And we'll name it after you. So you create your own news TV show, 1 hour program that will be delivered in one of the 12-week sessions in a school, and it's called yours, right? And what does it mean? And you know, I'm all for other people winning. I'm not a selfish guy. No. So go and build something. So then we have an army of entrepreneurial people building little money workshops and ideas for kids. Then we have years of product, years of experiences, but it's yours. Dietmar has his thing, you know. And I thought maybe we should do that and open that out. So if anybody has an idea, please bring it, and let's inspire the young people for that, you know. So
let's do it. So we started. We started, and you've been invited. Just join. Come in and call Terry, call us, call me, whatever. Send us a message. Whatever you want to ask, want to know, or want to be involved with, feel free. We're here.
Excellent.
Terry. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
that's great. No, that's great.
First interview.
Now we get drunk.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, now we get drunk. Now that's the first show and the first part of the show, and we were just setting up and really enjoying doing it, and we will have lots of interesting guests and
looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, me too. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
You reflect the source from which understandings flow. Learn from those before and continue to explore. There's no limit to how much you can know.